41-year-old breast cancer survivor Lautofa Miriam Fuimaono has a lot to be thankful for. 18 months ago, Miriam's world was turned upside down after getting an unusual dimple in her left breast checked by her GP and specialist.
It was actually by accident. I had come out of the shower and I saw a dimple that wasn't there before. I went for a mammogram and the ultrasound. I was lying down during the ultrasound and the technician came in during the mammogram and I thought, oh, okay, maybe she's just coming in to check something. And then a doctor came in and then she held my hand and she goes, oh, I'm going to have to break this to you. You've got breast cancer. This is only 2 days after my GP appointment.
It came at a time in her life when she recalls she was at her fittest.
I was thinking, here I am, I've just competed in a bodybuilding show. I'm running practically every second day, if not every day. I just didn't understand. So everything just kind of started rolling from there. Shell-shocked is probably an understatement.
The news came just as a state of national emergency was declared in Aotearoa due to COVID-19. And Miriam only had days to figure out what to do before the country went into lockdown. She decided to take the cancer by the horns and went privately. By mid-April, she'd had a mastectomy on her left breast.
I had the mastectomy probably about a month after lockdown. And when they did that, what they did was that they had to take some nodes out just underneath my armpit just to see whether or not it had spread. But as soon as that happened, they took out the nodes. They were like, unfortunately, it has actually spread through the nodes, so now chemo's on the table.
The next step was chemotherapy, and due to COVID restrictions in hospital, Miriam went through it all on her own.
The first day I walked in to get chemo treatment, and I looked around at everyone, and these are the patients receiving chemo that are all sitting there. They kind of gave me the pity look.
Holding down her job while going through chemo, her friends and family were also there for her, but at a safe distance.
I was able to work from home, so my boss was quite flexible with working from home and just doing what I can, just checking in. I have my family, my sisters, my dad. I've got some really close friends who were practically banging on the door, doing drive-bys, yelling from afar, is everything okay? Do we need to bring stuff over? And work was really understanding too. That was probably another thing as well. Just that probably made things a lot easier too. Just knowing that I had their support.
Once COVID restrictions eased, Miriam still had a way to go with breast reconstruction and losing her hair.
I did eventually shave it off after clumps of it fell out. It was just, I'd be sitting there watching TV and just run a hand through my hair and it would all come out in my hand. It's that brutal. Like you don't even feel it. It doesn't hurt, but it's just the emotional part of it. You're like, oh. I kind of had to look at positives like it. So, oh, okay, I don't have to shave my legs. It's really... So I would tell my friends, they'd be in tears. We'd be on like Zoom calls and they'd be like, how can you joke about this? And I said, I have to, otherwise I'd just lose my mind, to be honest. And that's the last thing I haven't lost yet.
And in those dark and unfamiliar times, Miriam turned to the professionals for help.
Having it during COVID is really hard because you do need that extra support. But at the same time, there were organisations like the Breast Cancer Foundation, the Cancer Society, who reached out. You've got online Facebook groups that do help out as well. So a lot of them kept me sane, especially when there was a lot of content that family and friends couldn't understand because they hadn't walked the same journey. I did meet friends during the journey who were in the same boat but further stages. You do meet them in different support groups along the way. Unfortunately, they have lost the fight to it. So that was really hard to take last year. Like, there were 2 of them that didn't make it.
Throughout it all, at home, Miriam's main worry was for her 15-year-old son, Nate, and how he would cope.
I remember when I got diagnosed, he was trying to stay strong the whole time. But at the end, once chemo was over, I just remember him asking, he was like, are you going to die? So I said to him, no, not on your life, no. It's not going to happen.
With the worst over, fighting through the tears with big smiles, Miriam encourages others to get checked.
I just really hope that PI women and the community around them all take care of yourselves, if anything else, because you're busy taking care of everyone else. You need the self-care, you need to get checked. It's not being paranoid, it's looking out for yourself so that you can look out for everyone else.
And even though she's on long-term medication, that's not going to hold this survivor back.
My oncologist, she said, as far as we're concerned, you're cured. And I do have family who are devil's advocate. They're like, oh, but you're still on meds for the next 5 years. And I went, I'm still here for the next 5 years, so I don't care. I'm not going to sit here waiting for cancer again. No, if anything, I can get back to normal life and just get on with it.